What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Today, what I really wanted to get into is Oklahoma Sooners' pro day, which was today, Pie Day, and we got the baker. We got the best baker in the country. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk a lot about Baker Mayfield and just who showed up to talk with him, about him, what some scouts had to say, what the general impressions were of Baker Mayfield threw the ball 70 times, man. Just getting work in. That's two games worth of football. But what I want to start out with is the lesser known guys, right? I want to talk about some of the guys that dropped some numbers today that are just bonkers, right? The first one being Jeff Badet dropped 4.27 in the 40-yard dash. 4.2, right? I didn't know we had 4.2 on this team, quite honestly. I really didn't see that as a thing. I expected 4.4, and I expected it from Jeff Badet, but then Emmanuel Beal dropped 4.45 at 227 pounds. Good gravy. My goodness. You know, in addition to Orlando Brown turned in a solid performance after his disappointing 5.8, 5.40, whatever. He dropped 5.6 today. You know, he felt better. He was more at home. Some other guys that had some standout performances include Jordan Smallwood, who is a workout warrior, right? We saw Jordan Smallwood. He dropped 21 reps of 225 on bench. He put down a 4.5, 240. He broad jumped 10 feet, 10 inches. And then he had a 39-inch vertical, which is that was the biggest vertical all day. I mean, Jordan Smallwood's going to make a whole lot of money. He just is. He's going to make a whole lot of money in the NFL should anybody want to go ahead and give that guy a shot, because he's just built to play. I mean, he's one of the most, I think he is the most NFL-ready wide receiver that we are going to gift to the NFL. But I know what people have wanted to talk about and what we need to get into right away is Baker Mayfield. But before we do all that, I want to see who is here in the chat. Oh, and my goodness, we got, man, that's what's up. We got folks are out here already. I saw Jay Gist was in here early. Flame's in here. What's up, Flame? Let me see who else we got in here. Logan Pendleton, what's good, fam? Jake Small in the house. Jerry Moore in the house. Joshua Young in the house. Jake Richards in the house. Southern Pride, what's up, fam? Spencer's in the house. Crankstar, what's good, fam? CBR Swag. Laura, what's good? Kian Hoosier in here. Braden Zimmerman. James Barber. The Debate Hitman is back. That's what's up. Kirk Perez is in here. Tyler Pierce, what's good, fam? Man, I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time. Hey, Terry, what's good? Glad to see you. Terry, I got that Jimmy Johnson Wishbone video dropping for you later this week. I've been thinking about you. Riley May, what's good, fam? Let me see. So what I wanted to get to next was Baker Mayfield and just this was his pro day. Okay, it's nice that we had all the other guys. Nice that Obo showed up. It's nice that Orlando Brown went back through. It's nice that Jordan Thomas showed up to run 4.5 and then didn't do any of the cone drills because, well, see my NFL Combine mixtape. It's nice. I liked it. It's fun. But the guy that everybody showed up to see is Baker Mayfield. 61 representatives from the NFL showed up to watch him. All 32 teams were represented. John Elway was on hand to watch him at his pro day. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Broncos. Gary Kubiak, who's also part of that organization, showed up to watch him. Look, Gil Brandt was there. Gil Brandt said he threw Baker threw 70 passes, 62 of which he thought were completions, 7 uncatchables, and 1 drop. Right? That's ridiculous. And he would sprint 40 yards to reset with the receivers after each one of their drills. Baker Mayfield went out there with the bandana, looking like Daniel Russo, and the Karate Kid just tied up, ready to go. And then we had some dude on Twitter talking noise. I think his name's Prisco with CBS, talking noise about, hey, anybody else show up to a job interview with a headband? Yeah, I got a headband for you. It says, I hate fun. Look. Also, Baker Mayfield signed today with Nike, U.S. Nike, so good for him. It's his first major endorsement deal. Very happy for him. But what I thought was really interesting is what Baker Mayfield had to say about the experience and what it's been like for him. Would he want to be a franchise quarterback? Would he want to start right away? He says, I'd like either one. You can look at it coming here, a winning tradition. It would be like going to a franchise with a great tradition. So I know exactly how to work and do all of that. But then at the same time, if I went to a franchise that hasn't done well recently, then I'd love to be the one to turn it around. Good for him. I mean, that's the right thing to say. Although, Cleveland Browns, keep your hands off of Baker Mayfield, okay? Keep your hands off our boy. Y'all don't know if you're coming or going, and you'll... Coach B, what's good, fam? Coach B saying hi with the $20 super chat. What's good, fam? Coach B also over there blowing up Patreon, man. We're like $160 from our goal over on Patreon of me being on the hook for weekly podcasts, in addition to some other monthly giveaways that I really am looking forward to doing. Also, new podcast dropped today. It's a special because we got this NCAA tournament thing happening tomorrow against Rhode Island. I talked with Keegan Renaud, who's beat writer for the franchise in OKC. It was fun. We talked about the defense looking forward because Mike Stoops has said that Caleb Kelly's moving to the Will. Kenneth Murray's going to stay on as the Mike, which means we're going to have a new Sam linebacker. And we don't know who's going to be the Jack. I mean, feels like it should be Addison Gums. Could be Mark Jackson. Ryan Jones should probably get on the field, but also Curtis Bolton's coming back. And we can talk about that a little bit more. RJ, is this week your spring break? No, my spring break starts next week. Next week starts spring break for me. Let me see. CBR swag. Not much thought. Pro Day was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, look. 19 guys showed up, including Christian Daimler, who graduated, then went to Texas A&M, and Jarvis Baxter showed up for a second year. But everybody turned in a pretty good performance, right? I was impressed. I really was. Even Wesley Horkey showed up to Pro Day, the long snapper. Went 8-7 in the broad jump, which is not bad. That's not terrible. Not terrible. And you know what? He didn't have the worst vertical jump. You know, that long snapper. Good for him, man. I would have loved to see him catch some passes. That would have been great. But no, so Emmanuel Beal, he made some money today, you know, dropping that 4.45. Devontae Lampkin made some money today, 31 reps of bench press, 225 on bench. You know, Steven Parker turned in a solid 20-yard shuttle, went 4.3 for his, which is just 0.03 of a second faster than Jordan Smallwood, who, for my money, had the best day, all-around day of anybody not named Baker Mayfield at today's Pro Day. And Pro Day is always fun. Right? Pro Day is always fun because you get to see some numbers put with these kids' athleticism. It's just a good time. It just is. I mean, he can flat out fly. Let me see what else we got in the form of questions here. Kirk Perez, with Baker's performance, why is his draft pick low? Darnold and Rosen can't touch him. Look, there's a lot of people that still believe Josh Rosen is the most polished quarterback prospect in the draft. From footwork to arm strength to physical nature, like he's just tall and can throw the football. I don't get the Darnold thing. I would put Josh Allen ahead of Sam Darnold just because Josh Allen's upside is it's kind of ridiculous. It really is. If you can mold him into an NFL quarterback, he's gonna be like Ryan Tannehill 2.0. But I wouldn't want to take that risk. I don't want a projected quarterback. I want somebody who can come right away and play. So for me, Josh Rosen and Baker are the best quarterbacks in this draft. However, it's Cleveland. And Cleveland just lost their all-pro left tackle. The best player on the Cleveland's team for the last 10 years has retired. And I think he's retiring. Honestly, he don't want to break in another quarterback. He's had like 22 of them. You know, I don't blame him. I really don't. And they're not going to trade him. He's their best player. So yeah, hang it up, man. Just hang it up and go home and let them rebuild with whatever it is they're going to rebuild with. You know, Tyrod Taylor's already out there, and I expect him to be the starter because you're paying him a lot of money in that trade not to start. But, you know, Baker could drop to Buffalo. Baker could drop to San Diego. The Jets just signed Teddy Bridgewater. Drew Brees signed an extension with St. Louis, with New Orleans, the Saints. That's where I got St. Louis from. So, I mean, there's lots moving and shaking, but I still think he goes number 6 to Denver because they basically cleared the way for him. They didn't go get Kirk Cousins like a lot of people thought they would do. They went Kirk Cousins to sign with the Vikings, which I think was smart of the Vikings. 3 years, $84 million, all guaranteed, which is great money if you can get it. And Denver is going to trade Trevor Siemian to the Vikings. So, I mean, look, they're riding the Paxton Lynch and or Baker Mayfield train. They're going to go get a quarterback, I think. And I think if John Elway's showing up to Baker Mayfield's pro day and Denver has coached him in the Senior Bowl, all signs point to him being the Denver Broncos starting quarterback come August. That's what I expect to see. But it's the NFL, and people make stupid decisions all the time. What else we got in here? Let me see. Who do you have as the biggest Baker Mayfield hater? I got Colin Cowherd. Yeah, I got Cowherd. I also got Mel Kiper's pretty high up there. Mel Kiper doesn't think too highly of Baker Mayfield at all, even now. But, Colin Cowherd will make excuses for Odell Beckham, but he won't make excuses for, Baker Mayfield. He just wants to pile on. But, there's money in piling on. And sometimes I feel like fighting him. Other times I feel like noise. What does that mean, Sam, Mike, Will? All right, so I'm actually putting together a defensive line techniques video too, but I need to do this Sam, Mike's, Will. So really quickly, the middle linebacker is called the Mike. The Will linebacker is called the weak side linebacker. He's to the weak side of the offense. So opposite wherever the tight end lines up. And the strong side linebacker is shifted to the I don't want to say overhauled. It'd be, the strong side. It would be the side that's weighted toward that side of the field. So when we talk about it, we're talking about where the tight end is lining up in relation to the linebackers. So the middle linebacker would be Kenneth Murray. The weak side linebacker, the linebacker that's lined up in an open space, usually covering up a slot receiver, is the Will. And the strong side linebacker is the guy that's going to be covering up like a Mark Andrews, who's going to have to match up and run with him. So when we talk about Mike, Sam, Will, we're talking about middle linebacker, weak side linebacker, strong side linebacker. Let me see. Whoa, I missed it. Coach B, again with the super chat. Goodness me. I'm down with that, Bill. Whoa, Crankstar. No questions, just chipping in. Y'all are awesome. I appreciate that, fam. Like, I'm over here having a good time. I'm glad everybody else is too. I made the podcast thinking about folks who give super chats and Patreons. Like, I wanted to put out that extra podcast and reached out to Keegan to get his feel for the team after he's covered them all year. And he's got some really great insights. So go check that podcast out. It's on SoundCloud. And I mean, it's there because you guys donate to the channel. That's what drives me to make these videos and make them better. Let me see. Grant Aikens in here. He says, no way they just got Keenum. Oh, you talking about the Denver? You think that Case Keenum is going to, you think Case Keenum is going to start over Baker Mayfield? Seriously? Nah, man. I mean, I like Case Keenum. I like him. He ain't no Baker Mayfield, man. Don't get out of here. I can't. No. Seabar swag. RJ, where will Levi Draper play? Will or Sam? I think he's going to back up the mic. I do. I think that if Kenneth Murray starts to get torched, Levi Draper, John Michael Terry, those are the guys that are going to step up. So we're getting to be deep at that position, I guess is what I'm saying. Cannonball Airsoft. Elite College Football Instagram hates Baker Mayfield. We're talking about an Instagram. Okay. Shannon Sharp. Yeah, okay. Shannon Sharp, Shannon Sharp got his own problems. So I don't study Shannon Sharp. Let me see. Jacob Franklin says, is there anything Baker can do between now and the draft to improve his status? I think he's solid, but there are some that still need to be convinced for some reason. His footwork's not great. That's the thing. But I posted this video to my Facebook and Twitter over the weekend. He was just messing around on like an NFL live set, and all he did was continue to just throw darts. Like, it was him and LaDainian Tomlinson. And LaDainian Tomlinson threw airmailed some passes, made some targets, but Baker Mayfield was basically standing there in like jeans and a t-shirt, just throwing darts. The accuracy is a superpower for this man. And that's something that we need to try to get out there more often, is when you're talking about a quarterback, you're talking about a guy in the NFL who can fit the ball into tight windows, who can hit receivers in stride, and who does not turn the ball over. Sam Darnold turns the ball over. Josh Rosen's been known to overthrow somebody, and Josh Allen could probably kill somebody with a football if he's not on target. So, it'd be his footwork. But at this point, everybody knows what you need to know about Baker Mayfield. And if you don't like him, you don't like him. Let's see, what else we got in here? Braden Zimmerman says, but as a Chiefs fan, I hope they start Keenum so they can continue to being trash. Well, Patrick Mahomes I don't think Kansas City's going to be very good at all. I really don't. I think Patrick Mahomes is in for some growing pains. Let me see. Who do you think will take Mark Andrews? That's a good question. Because Mark Andrews, to me, is the best pass-catching person. Not receiver, not tight end, just person in this draft. And I know there's a lot of folks that think that Calvin Ridley is a better wideout and a better prospect. But it's really hard to say because he's more of a commodity at this point. In the same way that Dimitri Flowers is sort of a commodity at this point. He's more of a luxury item. But if you want a Vernon Davis type of wide receiver, if you want a really big slot, if you want the next Gronkowski, go draft Mark Andrews, right? But line him up and play him like you would a Rob Gronkowski. Don't line him up and play him like an Antonio Gates, or line him up and play him like a Jimmy Graham. And I think that's what you're going to look at. Like I would have said Green Bay until yesterday when Green Bay signed Jimmy Graham to a 3-year deal. But maybe the Seattle Seahawks might go get Mark Andrews because he fits into what they do, and they do it really well. So, yeah, I think somebody's going to come get him. Let me see. Coach B says, don't sleep on the 49ers next year. Yeah, man. Well, I mean, Jerick McKinnon at running back I'm not excited about. But Richard Sherman, he gets to play Seattle twice. I mean, I make some jokes about Richard Sherman, and he talks a little too much, but he's an outstanding corner. He really is. Should OU put Baker in the lineup for the men's basketball tourney? No, because Baker can't play basketball. We know that. We know he can't play basketball. It's very hard for him to play basketball. However, if if Spencer wants to go ahead and just graduate early, maybe you put Spencer Rattler on the basketball team. I don't know. I think that team goes as Trey Young goes, but in particular with his ability to drop dimes. We know he's going to score. Everybody in the gym knows he's going to score. But I need him to get double-digit dimes if we're going to make a run in the tourney. And, let's say we get past the 25-win Rhode Island team, which we can. We're that good. Next stop is Duke. And that's just going to be tough. I want to beat the bricks off of Duke. But I'm not going to pretend that it's going to be an easy win or that we don't have the potential to get blown out. Because that's just a good basketball team. Not to mention that Marvin Bagley III is the second best player eligible for the draft this year. So, I mean, that's we got to remember that. Who's the Jack? Gums, Jackson, or Redmond? So, for the folks listening who wonder what a Jack is, Jack linebacker is the 4 spot in a 3-4. Usually, the Jack linebacker is the best pass rusher on the team. So Obo Okoronkwo last year was the Jack linebacker. And before he took that spot over, it was Eric Stryker, right? This is a guy who primarily just goes to kill quarterbacks. Addison Gums is built for the job. And when he played last year, he looked really good. Mark Jackson's also built for the job. Jalen Redmond's also built for the job. But today, right now, if I have to put somebody out there, it's going to be Addison Gums. I mean, the kid's 6'4", he's 240, he's gonna get bigger, he's fast, he's strong, he has the courage and the demeanor and the meanness to just throw off tackles and go just destroy quarterbacks, and I love his film. And I think Jalen Redmond needs a year. Remember, this is a guy who hasn't been playing football for very long, so I think he needs a year. But also, I'm talking about strong side linebacker being Ryan Jones, and I still think it will be, but give Deshaun White a year and he's right there too, I mean, it's just a thing. Whoa! What? I missed it. Somebody dropped it. Brandon Watt with the super chat, dog. With the 49. What is that? 49.99. Hey, my mom with the 19.99. Y'all are awesome. What? Man, hey, Brandon, I appreciate you, dog. I appreciate everybody who watches the videos. But if you give me super chats and Patreon and you support the channel in this big, huge way, because I've always said there's nothing more personal than your money. There will never be anything more personal than your money. And each like for the video and the subscriptions for the video, I mean, I appreciate it. And my own mama coming here to drop money, as if my mama hadn't dropped money on me for the past 30 years. Hey, Bill Beach! We are getting up to the 160. I'm gonna be on the hook for weekly podcast. I can see it already. And my mom there with the $9.99. I had lunch with my mama today. While we go to First Watch, which is one of our favorite lunch spots. And one of the things my mother pointed out is I need to figure out how to give back to your Patreon because I need to be able to give more money. And I'm like, Mom, you already give like $20 a month. Yeah, but I need to give 50. My mama out here. Just flame. What Cannonball Airsoft says, hashtag fire Mike Stoops. Yeah, man. Weekly podcast now. Hey, man, I just put out a new one. Yeah, I mean, we had one last week. We had one this week. It's fun. Billy in the Redwoods with the $20 super chat. Ah! Y'all, $5 from Coach B. Y'all are hijacking this. Y'all are hijacking the live stream with these super chats. Don King hijacking the super chat. What did he say? Sup, RJ? Better late than never. They ain't there yet. Bill Peach says, so I think phone does the $99 for some reason. I got nothing, man. I'm just happy that y'all are here. Blinken says happy Pi Day, everyone. For sure. I had some points that I wanted to get to, and these super chats have just hijacked everything I have going on in my head. So thank you for that. Thank you for helping me lose my entire stream of thought. Ryan Collier, I don't have $50, but thanks for the videos. A bunch of college teams have their guys for fans, but you were legit the first guy we've had for Sooner Entertainment. Hey, man, I enjoy it. I appreciate that. I really do. I've always said that you can't do this every day if you don't like what you're doing. And you sure can't build everything else around it, from the podcast to trying to do better produced video, being able to get the better camera like I was showing on live stream last week with better audio. Man, the audio for these videos is about to go through the roof. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But, I mean, that's because of y'all. That's because folks that support the channel want it to be bigger. They want it to grow. They want a better production. So y'all are awesome. I appreciate that. Let me see. What else we got? Jacob Franklin says, will Bookie play this year? If so, what position and as a starter? So, interestingly enough, one of the things that Mike Stoops said is Bookie is working at 2 safety spots. He's working at the nickel safety spot and the strong safety spot, which to me says Bookie's playing next year. You know, and he's not showing any signs of not being able to keep up. He seems to get it right away. And this is from Mike Stoops. This is from the guy who's calling the defense, whether I like it or not. So I think we can count on Bookie playing right away, but also because of his cover corner skills, I think he's a nickel safety. I think he's the guy that's going to line up in the slot. I think he's the guy that's going to take over for Will Johnson. Now, that said, it's going to be interesting to see who the high safety is. And my money's on Robert Barnes, because Robert Barnes is a sure tackler and a 5-star recruit. And I've always loved, I love Robert Barnes' safety more than any other safety that we have on the roster. I start him right away. However, you also got a Jordan Parker coming back at corner who could be a high safety, because we're getting depth there. Trey Norwood is going to battle. Parnell Motley is going to battle. We feel good about what we got in the secondary. We should. We really should. So I think he plays, and I think he plays right away. Craig Walker, what's good, fam? I missed you. Let me see. Talk about Jeff Badet. Look, man, I was talking about it earlier. 4.27. Flies. There's a reason why he was returning kicks. Now, this also brings into question, how fast is Marcelius Sutton? You know, because it seems like all the guys that we put back there to return kicks, everybody else knows how fast they are, but not us. We can't put a number on it. So everybody on the roster knows. Like when Daniel Brooks was returning kicks. You know, how fast is, I want to know how fast Marcelius Sutton is now. You know, and the rumors about A.D. Miller dropping 4.3. You know, like that's going to tell me a lot. Who do we have returning kicks next year? And then that'll be the guy you look for sub 4.4 from, because 4.27 is just filthy. That's just nasty. I don't understand how that was kept under wraps. That's ridiculous. Yeah, Justin, I just talked about Jeff Badet. I'm telling you. Let me see. Craig, yeah, man, sorry, I had a lot of problems listening. Oh, you're good, fam. Man, you're good with analysis. I appreciate that. I study. Mama says, what's the trick to the whole numbers, y'all? I don't know, because apparently YouTube is being stupid about the 99 cents, as Bill Beach had pointed out, Mama. So that's all I got. Let me see. I'm trying to look for more questions. What else we got? Oh, what I wanted to talk about. So I got a video that I had shot that I haven't put up yet, because you guys know that I'm notorious for having videos in the can and just kind of putting them up, then they feel like they're late. So I want to give everybody just a little brief understanding what I am doing on the channel right now. I'm trying to come up with a schedule that people can depend on, like team news this day, recruiting news this day, Fun Friday this day. But history is what I'm trying to do on Fridays now, right? I'm gonna try to, whether it's recent history like Oklahoma Sooners Bob Stoops versus the media and the history of that. But also, one of the things that I was looking at, because Terry Beckham has been a great friend of the channel for a very long time, is I've been trying to come up with a good way to tackle the whole Miami thing and why younger OU fans don't really know why OU just doesn't like Miami and will never like Miami and will never like Jimmy Johnson. And there's a number of reasons for that, but take this into account. From 1985 to 1987, Barry Switzer was 33-3. All 3 losses came to Miami, all right? And they were all 3 in really big games, with the last one being a national championship game where a lot of people feel Jimmy Johnson broke the wishbone. Like, he destroyed it. Like, he snapped it in half and said, now we're done. You know, and I answered the question about whether or not Jimmy Johnson actually did break the wishbone. But I'm looking forward to doing more stuff like that. So if there's something that you want to see, also the football one-on-one videos where I'm answering questions like what a Mike is, what a Will is, what a Sam is. Also what we mean when we say technique. You know, what is a 0 technique? What is a 4 technique? What is the 4 inside technique? All of those things. I'm trying to make more videos about those kinds of things. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows what we're doing and why we're doing it. Right, Blinken Riley says Ronnie Perkins is a grown-up man. Yeah, man, it's funny to hear Mike Stoops talk about some of these kids. It really is. Because what you continue to see is Mike Stoops knows from he knows from recruiting. We know this. He can recruit. We all know he can recruit. But apparently Ronnie Perkins is enormous and Ron Tatum is enormous. And they're playing defensive end. To say nothing of the interior line guys that we have coming in the form of Michael Thompson, but also in the form of Amani Bledsoe, of Kenneth Mann, of Neville Gallimore, of Marquise Overton, and just the kind of athlete that we have on the line. I also want to, Mike, explain to me in that same phrase, while we're talking about how good your defensive lineman is, why you don't have 4 on the line all the time. 4. 1 gap assignments. 1 gap assignments. I'm going to get into a tirade and I'm going to bring it back. But yes, Blinken brings up a very good point. Ronnie Perkins is a grown man. Let me see. What else we got? I hated Miami in the 80s. Thug you. I liked Miami, but I also like Flash. But I don't like getting beat either. And it's not as if Miami couldn't play. People didn't like Miami because they won. People didn't like Miami because Jimmy Johnson said, I don't care that it's thug you. I care that we win games. But remember this. Jimmy Johnson was the defensive line coach at OU when Barry Switzer was the offensive coordinator when they installed the wishbone in 1970. So Jimmy Johnson had been thinking about how to tear apart the wishbone for like 18 years. All right. And even when he was the head coach at Oklahoma State, he went 0 for 5 against OU. And Barry Switzer was running the wishbone. All right? So it's not as if, he just lucked up. He had a lot of time to get into this. Oh, Casey Beckham. Fire Mike Stoops and Texas. That's what's up. Let me see. Stoops beat Miami. Yes, in 2007. He beat Miami in 2007. Ask me how good Miami is in 2007, and I'll tell you above average. I'm talking about the 80s when Miami became Miami. Nobody cared about Miami until Howard Schnellenberger turned them into a world beater, and then Jimmy Johnson took it up a notch. That's the Miami that I want to talk about. So I get it. 07 was cool. Randy Shannon was the head coach, but I'm prepared to take on that one too. Jacob Franklin says, hell with Miami. Also ask, how will our front 7 be this year on D? Well, I mean, it all depends, right? It's about how they're deployed. I like the talent. We're stacked. Kenneth Murray's got a year under his belt. He's our best returning tackler. Caleb Kelly is our best returning athlete. We've been chomping at the bit to see what Ryan Jones could do at 230 as somebody who could actually play safety and linebacker. We already know what talent we have up front in the form of Gallimore, Marquise Overton, Amani Bledsoe, Kenneth Mann, Mark Jackson, Addison Gums. I mean, I can keep going. Plus the kids we got coming in. It's about how they're deployed. All right? If we're running some amoeba defense that looks like something like a 2-3-6, that's not going to work. If we don't have 4 men on the line of scrimmage, we're going to get torched. Plain and simple. So until Mike Stoops is no longer calling the plays, I don't know how we're going to look, man. I'm scared of it. Who else we got in here? Let me see. Matthew Wright says, Miami getting good back in the day was like Baylor getting good a few years ago. No tradition before Schnelly. Very true. All the same, Baylor was good. And Baylor beat us like we stole some a few times. Never forget RG3 coming up here to just torch us, man. You know, and then that monster hit on Sterling Shepard in Waco. Like, it ain't, I mean, when Browse was there, they could play. I mean, it's very similar. It's very similar. Don King, I lived on the opposite coast from Miami for 16 years and attended many U games. Their fans are trash. Stipulated. Blinker Riley says all of Texas's national championships were won by a coach who was a Sooner first. Yeah, and oddly enough, Darrell Royal didn't want to come back to Oklahoma. I don't understand that. You know, like he was offered the job a few times and he kept saying no. So like that's the one thing about it that just kind of bugs me, you know. And then Mac Brown, we can that's another thing altogether. Bill Beach says, RG, you don't think Gums plays linebacker? No, I think he plays the jack spot, which is technically a linebacker, but it's a defensive end hybrid is what it is. All right. So if you want to classify a jack as a linebacker, and many people do because 3-4, yes, but I think he plays the jack spot. I don't think he plays strong side linebacker in the way that Caleb Kelly did last year. I don't see that happening. Or Curtis Bolton did. I don't see that happening. He's too talented as an edge rusher. He just is, Bill. Who else we got in here? Tyler Pierce, nothing to do with football, but what's the deal with the step mill? Ooh, you got some videos to watch, fam. Oh, Laura, appreciate the super chat. Some money towards some lighting to make the corner a bit brighter. Happy Friday. All right, I can do that. I like the dark aesthetic. That's what I'm going for. I even got the interactive feature on the YouTube that you're watching. Some people it's white. Mine's black. I just kind of like the dark aesthetic, but I'll work on it. Royal is a traitor. Oh, who are we talking about? Oh, Darrell Royal. It's like, ooh, who are we talking about? Yeah. Well, look. If one of the blue bloods of college football wanted to hire Baker Mayfield as their head coach, right, and there was no job at Oklahoma, who would be mad about that? I'd be frustrated. I'd be a little embarrassed because we didn't make a spot for him at Oklahoma. But I'm not gonna get mad. Now, Darrell Royal being asked if he wants the job at Oklahoma, doesn't want to come home. Yeah, that's a little traitorous. But as his first major gig, I'm not gonna get upset about that. You know, I want everybody to succeed. I mean, I'm going to Oklahoma State for my PhD, right? Does that make me traitorous? I don't think so. You know, but if they had my program at Oklahoma and they don't, I'm creative nonfiction in the English department at one of the best creative writing programs in the country. Nobody holds that against me. I mean, and I wear this jersey. So I want to hold off on calling him traitorous up until the point where they're like, hey, do you want the job at Oklahoma? And he says no. So what else we got in here? I'm still bitter about that Oregon game too, Cole. Man, a lot of y'all just don't like 06. Well, hey, man, Chip Kelly's coming this year. If you just watch yesterday's video, you saw I gave a brief outline for the 2018 schedule. And I'm excited about that game. I really am. That's my favorite game on the schedule because all of a sudden UCLA is really intriguing because of Chip Kelly, because of Oregon, because it's UCLA, because it's the only team I think on the schedule that isn't a 10-win team, non-conference, that wasn't a 10-win team last year, and yet it's got, Army's on the schedule, so Army's got the most history. So that goes out the window. I'm still excited about it. It's one of my favorite games on the schedule. Let me see. Ryan Morwood says, yo. Who else we got in here? Don't get caught wearing orange. Why would I wear? Nah, I don't wear orange. It's not in my color wheel. Who else we got in here? Crankstar says, I will forever stay bitter. Hey, man, that Oregon 2006 game is like Georgia in the Rose Bowl. They're just people that are going to be salty about it forever. Forever. And rightly so. Rightly so. But I tend to try to look to the future because if I keep thinking about losing the Rose Bowl to Georgia in the manner that we lost it, I would never be able to make another video. Just the way that it works. Let me see. UCLA is trash. All right, I'll allow it. Let me see. What else we got in here? I know I missed some questions. Remember, the chat goes by fast for me, so if I didn't see your question or your statement, just drop it in there again. And as I've said, people usually use the super chat to make sure that they're heard. So please feel free to do that. Let me see. Flame says, if you're a Sooner, you don't go to Texas. Okie Light is not our level, and it's a real rival. We own them. Yeah, we do. Cole George says, 06 Boise State and Oregon games. Maddest I've ever seen my dad. That includes real life stuff. Hey man, nothing like that Statue of Liberty play just to give you the willies. It's like, we just got the Statue of Liberty rain on us. You're allowed to be upset about that game. Plus Boise State and Jared Zabransky and Ian running back, that dude proposed to his girlfriend on us. Yeah, you're allowed to be upset about that. That's like Samaje taking a knee for Oklahoma State fans. It just rubs. It's just grates. Who else we got in here? Mike McCoy. Students all over the country wearing orange today. We stay away from politics as much as we can. Though I do have a book coming out called Let It Bang that is about my reluctant odyssey into guns, and it's got politics and race, and very much is about the conversation that we're having right now outside of OU football. And that's one of the reasons that I ended up doing these every day, is because it allows me this opportunity to talk about this thing that I like and I love in a way that helps me deal with my own depression and get away from all the other stuff that, other people would get upset about. So I try to keep it politics free over here as much as I can for everybody involved, honestly. I want it to be a safe place for everybody who listens, watches, their children. It's the reason I watch my language. I have other people trained to watch their language. There's great policing of the comments where people are like, hey, we don't use those words. And I have great filters in place now to where if those words show up, they don't come on the channel, because I need this to be a safe place for me and you. I need that to happen. Let me see. Flame says, we had a wide receiver playing quarterback. Hey, wait, man. Paul Thompson? Is that who we're talking about? Because Paul Thompson's all right. Let me see. Who you got starting on defensive line? Do you have Mike Thompson starting? No. I got Mike Thompson redshirting. And I know that's controversial to a lot of people. But we're kind of good at that 3 technique spot, which is what he would be lined up as right now. He's not a nose. He's not big enough to be a nose right now. All right. He would have to be about 330, and he ain't there. He would be that 3 technique, right? He'd be that Neville Gallimore. He'd be that a little bit bigger of an Imani Bledsoe. So I got him redshirting. I think you want to get him in Benny Wiley's weight room, blow him up, and then put him out there next year. Give him a red shirt, let him grow, because we don't absolutely need him right away. However, if fall camp comes along and he's destroying people, fine. Have at it, man. Let me see. Oh, I can see that we are way over time. So I'm going to take one more question, and then we're going to wrap it up. Who else? One more question. So if you got one, drop it. And as soon as I see it, I'll go with that one. Let me see. Boise State, UCLA. Not the statue. God. Casey Beckham. Are we Texas Tech? Ouch. Let me see what else we got. All right, well, I had a question that I would address to myself then. And my question is, I say I addressed it to myself. I'll address it to you. And then, wait, Bill Beach, what are you hearing about Coach Benny? Well, what's fun about this guy, what's fun about Bennie Wiley is he seems to be a little bit more of a ham than we're used to having in Oklahoma. And provided we had Schmitty for like 20 years. But, this is a guy who was on NBC. He was on his own NBC show. He was down at Texas. He's wily strong. He seems to have a lot of fun. And he seems to be in a position where he thinks his job, quite literally, is to blow people up. And I don't mean just physically. I mean with confidence and belief in themselves and belief in what they're doing. I think he is Coach Pick Your Head Up. Coach Pick Your Head Up is a great guy. Coach Pick Your Head Up comes up to you and says, you wear an Oklahoma Sooners jersey. That means you're not only good enough, you're the best in the country. You are here because you're the best in the country. And everybody needs that guy in their organization all the time. I don't care if your organization is Tide, where you sell laundry detergent, or your organization is us, All right, Coach B, I appreciate the super chat, dog. I'm out RGB Easy. Cool. So I love having that guy, and I've heard rave reviews about this guy. He's positive all the time. He stays in the kids' ears. He stays in the coaches' ears. He's trying to figure out what they need so that he can service what the coaches need and also blow the kids up both physically and mentally. And, there's nothing wrong with somebody running around selling positivity. And I love that. I love having that guy on our team. All right, that's going to do it for me. If you're in the chat, say hi, and we'll do the roll call out. I know Coach B said goodbye. I appreciate that. Roscoe Parnell's in here. Cole George is in here. 3-3-half Evil. He's in here. Plasma doesn't. He's in here. Laura's in here. Appreciate the super chat, fam. Are you excited about the new Fantastic Beasts trailer? Yes, I am. Franklin Masson was in here. What's up, fam? CBR Swag. I'll see you, fam. Cannonball Airsoft. I'll see you. I know Terry Beckham was in here. I know Don King was in here. Mama was in here. My goodness. With the super chat, Brandon White was in here. Oh, that's what's up, fam. Bill Beach. Hey, man, I appreciate you, fam. Andrew Southward's in here. Let me see. Jaron Jones was in here. That's what's up. Jay Gitz is in here. Crankstar. Appreciate you, fam. Let me see. Who else was? Jake Small was in here. Appreciate you, fam. Who else was in here? James Barber's in here. That's what's up. Kirk Perez was in here. I know. Flame. I'll see you, fam. Cole George is in here. I know Terry Beckham was in here. Jerry Letterman was in here. That's what's up, fam. Don King. Deuces. Let me see. Who else we got in here? Anybody else? Going once. Going twice. Who showed up late? Oh, there it is. Franklin Maston. That's what's up. All right. If you like the videos, don't forget to like and subscribe because I make a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We live stream on Wednesdays. I have a podcast called Woosaw that I put out every other week, but it seems now I'm going to be on the hook for a weekly podcast. I put out one today with Keegan Renault where we preview the NCAA tournament and we talk about the Oklahoma defense and the depth chart. Give that a listen. I had a lot of fun with it. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Deuces.